Sahanavavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Garavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpada Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritam Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah. Today we are seeing Kathopanishad and second verse, and we are doing the 8th verse. Na narena avarena proktaha, taught by an inferior teacher. What is the definition of an inferior teacher? So don't take it abstract. Be specific. Avarena, inferior teacher means a person who is a wrong teacher. There are no inferior right teacher and a superior right teacher. A right teacher is always a right teacher. We don't have to say a right teacher A and right teacher B, there is no difference. They're all really right teachers. Inferior teacher should mean only a wrong teacher. Who is the wrong teacher? The one who teaches Dvaitam. The one who does the, what we call Anuvada, means a restatement of what is already known to humanity. That means he restates the error. The error cannot be restated. The error has to be corrected. That is why nan arena avarena prokta esha suvijñaya. This cannot be understood if it is taught by an inferior teacher, meaning a wrong teacher. Bahuda chintyamanaha. And the truth is viewed in many ways. It is, some say it is Dvaitam, some say it is Visishtadvaitam, some say it is Shunyam, some say it is only the form, some say it is not there. Different people view this truth in different ways. It is speculated. Logically, some people right logically, wrong logically, through wrong logic, through right logic, they speculate about the truth. And how do they speculate? They speculate in many ways. Bahudha chintyamanaha. Bahudha means in many ways. Chintyamanaha. Some say the truth is in heaven. Some say the truth is this, that. And most of the speculations are about the truth as located in space, which is wrong. Ananya prokte gatiratra nastri. Ananya means a teacher who is a right teacher, the one who teaches the Advaitam. Advaitam is not something, if you are teaching Advaitam, it should already be evident. Advaitam is not evident only when after knowing the truth. In order to know it, it is evident. It should be evident already. What is evident can be recognized. What is unevident cannot be recognized. You can't say after recognizing the non-duality will become true. That is all wrong. It's absolutely stupid to think that after knowledge the truth will become evident. The truth should be evident even before it is recognized. Even in the case of a mosquito, it should be evident. Even in the case of an illiterate person, it should be evident. And in sleep, the non-dual nature of the self is evident. That you are free from all the thoughts is evident. That you are free from embodiment is evident. That you can transcend means that you can stand free from it. Transcendability means you can stand free from it. And therefore you transcend the body. That means you stand free from the body. You transcend the thoughts means you stand free from, you exist free from the thoughts. You transcend the emotions, attachments, etc. You transcend the universe means your existence is independent of the universe. Yes, you don't become non-existence in sleep. Therefore, ananya proktaha means, anyaha means the dvaitam. Ananyaha means advaitam. Ananya prokte, when it is taught by an Advaita teacher who always points out Advaitam as the evident factor, not as the resultant factor, result of knowledge. No. The result of understanding is the negation of the Bhranti. The result of understanding is the negation of Bhranti. But The subject matter of understanding should be evident even before understanding. Like science, you see, science goes about understanding what is sense evident. If it is not sense evident, you can't have, there is no science. You can't really talk about the law of gravitation unless it is sense evident. You can't talk about any scientific fact unless it is sense evident. And therefore, Bhranti is always corrected. Like even when you know the rope as snake, rope is evident, but it is not recognized as the rope. But don't say it is not sense evident. It is evident. You are seeing the rope as snake. You don't recognize it, but it is there as the rope. It is sense evident. It is, and therefore you come to recognize it, that it is a rope. You can't say the ropeness will be known only after the knowledge. Say the ropeness, the rope as an object is evident, and therefore Ananya Prokte, when it is taught by an Advaita teacher, Gatiratra Nasti, there is no mistake. Gatihi means Durgati. There is no erroneous understanding. There is no distortion. When the Advaiti is taught, when the Advaiti teaches the truth, there will be no Gatihi. There will be no distortion. And Advaita Acharya means it's not an ordinary thing. A traditional Advaita Acharya, whoever he is, he will always teach that the Advaitam is evident already. Like Karikakara says, that is the waking, dream and sleep. The one who waking is a waking state, it is a state. A dream is a dream state. And even the blackout is a blackout state. But the state, all this, one state may replace another state, but no state replaces the one who is aware. And that is the truth. And therefore, Atma tat sarva, tat sarvam, tat sarvavit sada. Atma tat sarvavit sada. Atma is something that is aware of the waking, aware of the dream, aware of the blackout also. All the three, one state can replace another state. A state cannot replace its own reality. Like the wave cannot replace water. Therefore, truth is irreplaceable. Silence is not replaced by the sound. No disturbance can replace peace. No disturbance. It takes place in peace. It is the Shanti that is viewed as disturbance. The takes place in silence. Noise cannot replace silence. Similarly, disturbance takes place in Shanti. It can't replace Shanti. And therefore, the object can replace another object. Object cannot replace the subject. The subject is the truth. The subject's actuality is the truth. The subject, even the subjectness, subject-object relation has to be bracketed with the object. It is a known relationship. And therefore, it is to be bracketed with the known, the object. The subject by actuality is absolute G. It is the absolute that looks like the subject. Otherwise, it cannot be. If the subject is something that is synonymous with the object, then there would be no subject. If without the subject, then what is it that evidences the object? The object doesn't evidence its own existence. It is the one who is aware that evidences the existence of the object. You say there is a universe. What is the proof? Say your knowledge, your awareness, you are aware of it, and therefore you say there is a universe. The sun is bright. Why do you say that? What is the proof? Say I am aware of it. It is universally aware. It is universally known. Everybody says the same thing. But whether it is everybody says or you say, it doesn't matter at all, because ultimately the evidencer of the universal is the subject. Whether it is universality of the subjects or one subject, it doesn't matter. But even if you take the universality of the subjects, but every subject is a subject. It is the absolute that looks like many subjects. It is the sea water, the singular that looks like many waves. The one looks as many. The one absolute looks like many individuals. And it is not the individuality that evidences. Even the individuality is evidenced. And therefore, what evidences is your actuality. Your soul nature of awareness is what evidences your sense of individuality. That I am an individual. There is no individual. There is only individuality. The truth plus individuality. Individuality is an error, and limitation is an error. There is no limited being, please. There is only unlimited being with a sense of limitation. There is only unlimited being with a sense of limitation. The sense of limitation is an error, and that is corrected by Advaita Acharya. The Advaita Acharya always says that the truth is evident. Even before you come to the truth is already evident as you. Tvam is the only gateway to point out the truth. Tvam, thou is the only gateway to point out the truth. This or that cannot be can be only objects, but thou is the truth. That is why it is said Tatu Tvamasi. You cannot point out the truth except through Tvam. Ananya Prokte Gatiratra Nastri. Aniyan, it is very subtle also. Because of its subtlety, because it is viewed many ways, and therefore it cannot be understood taught by a wrong teacher. And also it's aniyan, it is very subtle, and therefore it cannot be understood taught by a wrong teacher. Atarkyam means, and it is something that cannot be speculated. Logical speculation is not the pramana, is not the means to know the truth. Every speculation always objectifies. The very speculating process is objectifiable. The thinking, it is thinking. Thinking is objectifiable. Speculation is also objectifiable. And the truth is not objectifiable. The truth, the evidences, objectifies even this process of speculation. Whereas the consciousness is not speculated. It evidences the process of speculation, the idea of speculation, the process of speculation. And what evidences this process of speculation cannot be speculated. Aniyan Hatarkyam, Anupramanat, because it is very subtle. It is very subtle means understand. Subtle does not mean really you have to strain your temples to objectify it. Anupramanat means it cannot be objectified. You can relax and objectify. You can relax and understand that it is not something. It's not subtle does not mean very small thing, very very small objectifiable thing. ऐसा नहीं है. It's not very that. It's a very thin thing. It's not that. It is something that cannot be objectified. You cannot objectify. You can objectify your individuality, but you can't objectify yourself. You can't objectify your being. When you say, I am Deha, the body is objectified. Even the thought that I am the body is objectified. But the one who objectifies cannot be objectified. And that is what is you, the actual you. And therefore, now, before we go to the next verse, I would like to answer two questions. One question is, one American asked a question, that is, Swamiji, is it possible to know the truth without exhausting vasanas, with vasanas alive? Vasana, in empirical sense, one empirical meaning of the vasana is desire, Suji. The various tastes for things. That is called vasanas. And the vasana cannot be exhausted. Vasana is an error. Vasana presupposes the sense of incompleteness. Without the sense of incompleteness, you can't have a desire. If there is no sense of incompleteness, if there is no sense of embodiment, there is no sense of incompleteness. If there is no sense of incompleteness, then there is no desire. Therefore, in the deep sleep state, there is no sense of embodiment. Therefore, there is no sense of incompleteness. And therefore, there is no sense of desire also. Therefore, there is a presupposition. The reason-result relationship is there. The sense of embodiment, without the mistake, cannot be sense of embodiment. That mistake, sense of embodiment, leads to the sense of incompleteness, and that leads to the error. That leads to the desire, and the desire cannot be exhausted. It is an empirical sense. In empirical sense, vasana means a desire, and a desire cannot be exhausted. It cannot be fulfilled, Ji. No desire, even one single desire in this universe cannot be fulfilled. Nobody can fulfill a desire. If it is fulfilled, it should not come back. If it comes back again, that means it's not fulfilled. And therefore, no desire can be fulfilled. The more you enjoy it, the more it comes back with greater power. The more it like fire, it puts out its tongues. And therefore, no desire can be fulfilled, no desire can be exhausted. You either want to finish off the desire or you want to fulfill the desire. But you can't fulfill the desire, you can't get rid of the desire, you can't exhaust it. The error cannot be exhausted, the error cannot be fulfilled. The error has to be corrected. Every desire is the result of the self-error. The result of the self-error also is a self-error. Like when you go up the tree in the dream, that is also a part of the dream place. It is dreamt. And then when you crash down, that is the result of going up. That is also dreamt. Similarly, the result of the dream is also dreamt. The result of events in the dream is also dreamt. And therefore, here also, the result of incomplete, the result of desire, the result of the sense of incompleteness is the desire. That is also an error. If the sense of embodiment is an error, if the sense of incompleteness is an error, then the result of it, the desire, is also an error. An error cannot be fulfilled. It is meaningless to think that the error can be fulfilled. It is meaningless to think that the error can be exhausted. Please define what is exhaustion. Means to get rid of. How do you get rid of it? You can only control it. You can exercise. That is what is the glory of the choice. You can use your choice and control your impulses, your impulsive desires. But you can't exhaust it. Exhaustion should be, according to me, exhaustion means only self-control. Control your desires. And the another, the paramarthika, in paramarthika sense, vasana means, in paramarthika sense, in spiritual sense, the vasana means the unmanifest impressions of the universe. It comes in Brahma Sutra Bhashyam. This prapancha, these vasanas are called prapanchas. Prapanchas impressions. The impression of the space, the impression of the earth, the impression of the water, the impression of the fire, the impression of the air, etc. The impression of embodiment. The impression of the physical is what is called the vasana. That vasana also is an error. It cannot be corrected, it cannot be exhausted. And ultimately, in knowledge, it is all corrected. Therefore, life being an error, it can't be exhausted, it can't be got rid of. It has to be only corrected. That I am the form is needs to be corrected, please. That I am the form is not an event. The birth is not an event. It is a perception that I am the form. And you find yourself with that perception. That is called an error. You find yourself. You don't deliberately commit an error. You find yourself with the perception that you are the form, and that is an error. An error is not deliberate. You find yourself with it. You don't deliberately create the dream. You find yourself dreaming. You don't perceive the universe deliberately. You find yourself perceiving the universe. You don't deliberately entertain a desire. You find yourself with the desire. You find yourself with the sense of embodiment. You find yourself with the sense of incompleteness. You find yourself with a craver, being a craver. You find yourself being a desirer. And any error is, in fact, you find yourself with. That is anadi desire. Anadi error, please. This anadi desire is called vasana. in empirical sense, and in paramarthika, in spiritual sense, vasana means the unmanifest impressions of the universe. Neither can be exhausted, neither can be got rid of, neither can be fulfilled. And therefore, you have to be, the error being what it is, it needs ultimately to be corrected by understanding the truth about which is this error. If there is an error about the sand as mirage, I must know the sand as sand when I have to get rid of when I have to correct my perception that it is a mirage. The error cannot be corrected without understanding the fact. And therefore, don't unnecessarily try to exhaust vasanas. Don't try to exhaust desires. Control them. Just that is a word, exhaustion. It is not exhaustion. You can't exhaust it. Once you exhaust your desires, then you don't have to know anything. Ji. Therefore, if you can exhaust the result of bhranti, then there you don't have to know anything. But it's not possible to exhaust an error. It's not possible to fulfill an error. It is not possible, and therefore an error needs to be correction. The dream cannot be exhausted. The dream desires cannot be fulfilled. They keep coming again and again. The dream can only be. It's a bluff that can only be called. You wake up and then discover that it is a dream, and it is gone. It's corrected. An error needs to be corrected. People may wonder, how can it be an error when so much is happening in this world? So many people are suffering, and so many countries are there, and so many jivas are there. How can it be an error? I say an error can be there, like in the dream also. It looks like the waking is an error. Like when you see the sand as the mirage, it looks like a real pool of water. But when you take a closer look, then you discover that it is all sand. There is no water. And therefore, Bhavasagar, it is said, this Bhavasagar, this samsara, the ocean of samsara, in one of the bhajans it is said, how can I cross this Bhavasagar, this ocean of samsara? Bhagavan, and then Bhagavan says, there is no Bhavasagar. You just take a closer look. Discovering that there is no Bhavasagar is what is called crossing the Bhavasagar. You don't have to cross the ocean of sorrow. You have to only discover the fact. Discovering the fact is what is called crossing the error place. This is one question. The other question is, what is that question? That question is, yes, regarding heaven. This is the question put by Ganapatiji, some Ganapatiji. Please understand this, that if you don't, what is not evident, you may believe it, you may not believe it. If there is life here, I only said there is life elsewhere, I can't say that. There could be life. It is just a matter of speculation. If it is here, it could be elsewhere also, because it is very difficult to think that life could only be here, and therefore the possibility is it's possible. You may believe that the life is elsewhere, you may not believe that the life is elsewhere also. You may not believe. That is just a belief. It may be or it may not be. That is what is not evident. As a matter of belief, it may be there, it may not be there. But then sometimes, if the truth is, but the Swamiji, can we say the same thing about the truth? No. The truth is, it can never be other than you, because if it is other than you, it has to be an object, whether it is the object of this world or it is the object of the next world. And an object is always incomplete, and therefore the truth has to be your being. Tvam alone has to be the truth. It is not possible that truth can be anything other than your being. But when it comes to an object like heaven, is there heaven? I don't know. It may be there, it may not be there. But that should not be the topic. What creates a doubt should not be the topic in life. What is definitely evident alone should be the topic. Is there God in heaven? Definitely, if he cannot be in heaven alone, because he is there in the thought of every being, as the source of every thought. He is the underlying reality of the entire thinking. Everybody is thinking. He cannot be there only in heaven. Therefore, truth cannot be other than you. Truth has to be within yourself. But when it comes to an object, if as a matter of belief, you may believe it to be there. Heaven itself may be there, may not be there. You can speculate it. You can say maybe it is there, maybe it is not there. I don't know. It's not evident from here. That's what is to be registered in life. It's not evident from here. Right now, it is not evident. Only this universe is evident. I am evident, and that should be the topic. And Vedanta makes only the universe and the seer of the universe as the topic. The other worlds and all that is also there also. Even if there is another world, then again there is only seer and the seen. Even if there is heaven, if you go to heaven, then again there is a seer and the seen. Seer and the seen both together is the topic. Whether it is this world or the next world, there is only a seer and the seen, the knower and the known, the evidencer and the evidenced, the sense evident and the self evident, the conscious being and the material existence. The material existence. And therefore, I don't say just because there is life here, there is life elsewhere. There is life, I didn't say. I said there may be life, there could be life elsewhere. There could be, or there could not be, there need not be. There may be, there may not be. That is different. That is a matter of a belief. But the truth cannot be a matter of maybe or may not be. The truth is the evidence of the seer. The seer of the seen is the truth. Now you can't say the seer may be there, may not be there. The seer is evidently is there. Therefore, you don't have to say maybe there, may not be there. And Naisha Tarkena Matirapaneya. I have answered these two questions, please. I hope you are happy with this, G. And then if you understand this, that's very good. Desire can never be exhausted. Desire cannot be fulfilled. Even one desire cannot be fulfilled. Even the desire to eat, even if you consume the whole world, the desire for eating cannot come to an end. Similarly, the belief also, you can have belief about the objects. You can't have belief about the truth. Truth is not a matter of belief. Truth is ever evident. And now the next verse says, Naisha Tarkena Matirapaneya. Esha means Esha Matihi. This is knowledge. This knowledge, not Tarkena, through speculation. Matihi Apaneya, it cannot be gained. This knowledge cannot be gained through speculative logic. Logic is of two kinds. One is speculative logic, the other is called pramana, the logic that is used to understand the pramana. That is Shruti, Shruti Aviruddha. That is, it is something that is non-contradictory to what the Shruti says. It helps me to understand what the Shruti says. And therefore, on that kind of nyaya, Anubhava-based tarka is accepted, but not sense data based tarka. Sense data based tarka is what is called kevala tarka, sense data based tarka. Like science is a sense data based. Sense data based tarka is useful for understanding the objects, but the sense data based tarka is not useful for understanding the self, because sense data based tarka is different from Anubhava based tarka. Anubhava based tarka is like, for example, that you are aware of the waking state, you are aware of the dream state, you are aware of the deep sleep state. There are no senses in the deep sleep state. The absence of the senses, the very disappearance of the senses is known to you. That is not a sense data based tarka. It is Anubhava-based Tarka. That you are the witness of everything. You are aware of the form, the sound, the taste and touch and smell. It is not sense data based Tarka. It is Anubhava based Tarka. You are the experiencer. The experienced relation. The whole Jagat is an object of experience. You are the experiencer. And the experienced may go away. The experienced can replace another experienced thing. But no experienced thing can replace the experiencer. The object can replace another object. The object cannot replace the subject. This is what is called Anubhava-based Tarka. Anubhava-based Tarka is used by Shastram. Shastra uses the Shruti, the Shastra. The Vedanta uses the Tarka. But which one? Anubhava-based Tarka, but not sense data-based Tarka. Sense data-based Tarka is useful for figuring out, for imagining, for inferring the objects. But the sense data-based Tarka cannot be used to infer the truth. You can't infer the truth on the basis of sense data-based Tarka. The Shastram is understood truth of Anubhava-based Tarka, and that Tarka is different from the sense data-based Tarka. Naisha Tarkena Matirapaneya. Through sense data-based Tarka, through speculative Tarka, knowledge cannot be gained, truth cannot be known. Naisha Tarkena Matirapaneya. Prokta Anyenaiva. If it is taught by another person, if it is taught by a traditional teacher who is an Advaita Acharya, Sujnanaya Preshta, it can be easily understood. It is not a Preshta. Sujnanaya Preshta. Preshta means Priyatama. Oh, Priyatama, my dearest, it is easy to understand the truth if it is taught by an Advaita traditional Acharya. Not a speculative teacher, but the one who says the truth is evident even before you understand. Your knowledge doesn't add to the truth, your ignorance doesn't delete from the truth. Knowledge destroys the ignorance, that's all. The right knowledge corrects the wrong knowledge about the truth. The Shastra works only on your thinking. It's your thinking, your perception is different from what you are. Your thinking about yourself is your view. It is not your existence. Your existence is different from, your nature is different from your view. In this manner, an Advaita Acharya always points out the evidence of the truth even before you understand the truth. Prokta Anyenaiva, taught by another teacher who is an Advaita Acharya. Sujnanaya Preshta, it can be easily understood. It can be easily understood. Oh dearest. Yam Tvomapaha, He Nachiketa, whom you have gained already in the case of me, in the form of me. You have already got the teacher in me. But you need to discover the teacher in me. Yes, I am a traditional teacher, but he tells Nachiketa, Nachiketa, he tells Nachiketa, yes, Nachiketa. He tells Nachiketa, hey Nachiketa, you need to discover the teacher in me. Yes, I am saying that I am a teacher, but how do you know that whether he is a teacher is a right teacher? A right teacher is one, the Lakshana is, he is always pointing out the existence of the truth as self-evident. The one who teaches the truth as self-evident is the traditional Acharya. The one who says it becomes evident after knowledge is not a traditional Acharya. The traditional Acharya you have got in me, and you have to discover the traditional teacher in me, he says. Yam Tvomapaha, Satya Dhritir Batasi. Satya Dhritir Batasi, your resolve to know the truth is very, very, very truthful, very true. You don't have a shakable resolve. a shaky resolve, but you have your resolve to know the truth is unshakable, is firm. Satya dhritir batasi. Satya dhritihi. You are indeed Satya dhritihi. Dhritihi means dhairyam. You have indeed a true resolution to know the truth. Bata indeed, asi, you are. You are indeed of a strong resolve to know the truth. Twadringa, and someone like you, naha to us. Twadring naha, bhuyat. Bhuyat, hey Nachiketaha, someone like you, I wish I had one more student like you, he says. I wish I had one more student like you. Prashta. Prashta means a questioner. The one who asks the questions. I wish I had one more student who would ask these questions as you are asking. It would be so nice. It is on it. This is what is called stuti. That's the stuti of a teacher, stuti of a student, and stuti of a student means stuti of the jignasa, stuti of the firmness of resolve. It is a praising. It's praising the jignasa. Praising the student means praising the jignasa, the desire to know the truth. It's praising the vairagyam. This is all what is called the stuti. Stuti means upakarama upasamhara, upatihi. And arthavada, it comes under arthavada. Arthavada means it is stuti. You praise the jignasa, you praise the right teaching, you praise the vairagyam, you praise all the values of a student, you praise the shamadamadi, you praise the viveka, vairagyam, you praise the mumukshutva, you praise the jignasa. These are all what is called arth. It comes under Kathavada. And you praise the Advaitam, you praise the oneness of the truth. You praise also you run down the division. Mrityo samrityam apnoti, yaiva naneva pashyati. In this manner, you run down the division, and that just to show that the Advaitam is true and the Dvaitam is an error, please. Advaitam, it is not a parallel untruth. It's not a parallel untruth. It's untruth. You must understand the difference between truth and untruth. Truth is what is. Untruth is how I look at it, my view about it. My view about the truth, my view about the truth is the error. The error is always erroneous thinking. Error is not erroneous thing. It is erroneous thinking. We always think error means, erroneous thing we think. There are no erroneous things. There is only erroneous thinking. And that erroneous thinking looks like a thing. Erroneous thinking, erroneous perception, erroneous view looks like a thing of a view, as though it is a thing. But actually, this universe is not an erroneous thing. It is erroneous thinking. Embodiment is not an erroneous thing. It is erroneous thinking. Sense of incompleteness is not an erroneous. Incompleteness is not erroneous thing. It is erroneous thinking. And therefore, adhyasa means atasmin tad buddhi. It is buddhi rupa. It is thinking. And therefore, atasmin tad buddhi. It is not really a thing rupa. It is thinking rupa. And therefore, twadringno bhuyat nachiketa prashta. I wish I had one more student like you. Hey Nachiketa, he says. Who says? The Lord Yama says. He is so happy with Nachiketa. He is so happy with Nachiketa. He tells, hey Nachiketa, I wish I had one more student like you who would always ask questions about the truth. Because in this world, the rarest thing is to be aware of one's existence. Nobody wants to be aware of his existence. Nobody wants to look at his own existence. Everybody wants to look at his form. Everybody wants to look at his thoughts, look at his emotions, attachments, detachments, etc. Everybody wants to look at his mental, the glories, but education, etc. But otherwise, your existence is different from your embodied individuality. Your embodiment is adhyasa, is erroneous thinking. Embodiment, there is no embodiment. There is only a view that I have a form. I have a form. Like in the dream, you have only you only dream that you have a form, but otherwise there is no form there. There is no body. When you wake up, you think that you have no dream body. You have no dream form. The entire whatever is dreamt is all dream. Is a part of the dream. Similarly, here also it is said. There is no embodiment is not an erroneous thing. It is erroneous thinking. Incompleteness is erroneous thinking. Even desire is nothing but erroneous. It's not an erroneous thought, erroneous thing. It is not, it is erroneous thinking place. Erroneous thinking cannot be exhausted. Erroneous thinking cannot be fulfilled. Erroneous thinking can only be corrected. An error can, when you make a mistake in a mathematical solution, if you make you are solving a problem and that problem happens, you have solved it wrongly. How do you do it? What do you do? Can it be exhausted? Can it be, you have to correct it. You have to redo it correctly. And the correction, when you correct it, the correct answer cancels out the wrong answer. Yes. That is the only, the wrong has to be always corrected. The error has to be corrected. This is what every student has to understand. The Vedanta is a corrective literature. It only corrects the error. It doesn't describe the truth. It doesn't talk about the truth on the sense data based logic, please. Twadringno bhuya nachiketa prashta. And then in the next verse, Bhagavan is going to say, even though I know the karma cannot do anything to me, cannot give me anything, but yet I performed, I got Nachiketa Yajna performed, and now I have got this pada. This pada means this position of being in the Lord Yama. And for a long time I have been on this. I'm stuck with this pad. Even a pad is it can come in the way of understanding the truth. Yes. Yes, Ji. Even position, any responsibility means karma. Any responsibility is action. And any do's and don'ts come in the way of understanding the truth. Your duty is not to do the do's and not to do the don'ts. Your duty is to know yourself. That is your duty. For survival, you may have to do the do's and avoid the don'ts. That's a different matter. I'm not saying you are not supposed to do. No, you can do the do's, you can avoid the don'ts in order to survive. But in order to know the truth, you don't have to do anything. You have to only look at your existence correctly. Your existence is different from your form, your thoughts, your emotions, your feelings, etc. Your existence, your being, his existence is different from everything else. Your existence is Brahman, and your existence is what is the topic of Vedanta. And Vedanta only corrects the error about your existence. Thus, there are only two things, a fact and the view about it. The view about it is called erroneous thinking, erroneous view. The views cannot be thrown away. The views have to be corrected, please. If the earth is flat, if a person has things, he cannot throw away, pluck the thought and throw it away. Erroneous thoughts cannot be plucked and thrown away. Erroneous thoughts need to be corrected. Human beings have to rise to the occasion and understand their thinking is wrong about their view is wrong about their existence. Even the embodiment is a wrong view. It's not an event. The birth is not an event. It is only a view, please. There are no events in this world. The event is also a perception, is a view. Like in the dream, there are so many events. Those events also are a part of dream. They are also dreamt. Similarly, the waking events also are dreamt. Dream is given as a simile for the waking place. As is the dream for dream, so is the waking is a dream. Because there is no difference between the waking and the dream. Because in the dream also there is objectified. The waking also is objectified. That is also drishyamanam. This is also drishyamanam. The dream looks external to you. The waking also looks external to you. In the dream there is a struggle, and here also there is a struggle, and there it is always. In the dream there is a usefulness of things. Here also there is usefulness of things, and utility is there. There is here and here also, and externality is there in both the states. And the one who evidences the entire dream is there. You are there. The one who evidences the waking also, you are there. Therefore, both of them are, in both the states, the truth is common. Even though there are two states, the truth is commonplace. Truth is common to all the three states. No state can replace the truth, can affect and taint the truth. Truth, every state appears in the truth, disappears in the truth, manifests in the truth, and becomes unmanifest in the truth. Whereas the truth evidences both the state and its absence and its blackout, its absence also. And therefore, pad also is not a very important thing. That's why here the Acharya is saying, I must have done some punya karma, and punya karma has given me this position, and I am going through that position. But that's not important. Even if you serve a position for 1,000 years, but ultimately the result is it's non-eternal. It will go away. And therefore, even if you have wealth, a lot of wealth, it is non-eternal, and it will come to an end. Life itself comes to an end. And therefore, what is important is knowing yourself, looking at your existence is more important. And the more of it we will see in the next class. Ji. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.